The one scenario is that we give the Russians, the Ukrainians, the weapons, and they use them on Russia, and they attack conventionally, as we said in a scenario just a second ago. What is the how do you see this mentality from Piers Morgan et al. Being willing to walk down that escalation ladder that you were talking about instead of ramping it up?
I'm not sure exactly what you mean.
Well, what I'm saying is, you and I are sitting here saying the rational thing is don't go up the escalation ladder because it has a fatal end for everybody here. But this mentality that already is here, they're already saying take the risk. Would they change their mind if the first rung has been reached and we have been hit on a conventional territory on whether Poland, Germany, etc.?
I don't think so. I think they'd continue up the ladder. I think, there's this Russian strategist who I know reasonably well, Sergey Karaganov, who basically argues that the West has lost sight of just how horrible a nuclear war would be, and that what we, the Russians, have to do is we have to use nuclear weapons to send a very clear signal to the West, just what the nature of the game is that we are playing here. And when I listen to people like Bolton and Piers Morgan and others talk, I think there may be a lot of truth in what Karaganov says, that people in the West, a lot of people in the West, just don't think there's any serious threat that the Russians would use nuclear weapons. They think that nuclear weapons are so horrible, the Russians would never use them. We can slap the Russians around and they're just not going to do anything about it. And Karaganov's argument is that this is the way they think, and the only way that's going to disabuse them of this kind of thinking is to launch a nuclear weapon or two and teach them the basic facts of life. And I'm not advocating that happen. I want to make very clear.
Yeah.
But you do have the sense when you listen to people like Bolton and others speak that they just think that we can go up the escalation ladder and it will remain conventional forever and ever.
And I've heard that from some Russian sources I've talked to as well about their thinking in that direction. Last question I've got for you here is from the other side of that equation. What kind of pressure would Putin be under, given what he just said yesterday, if long-range weapons are used on his territory, for him to not respond? What if he doesn't? Like, he doesn't want to use nuclear weapons. He doesn't want to get vaporized, as Piers Morgan said there, but he also doesn't strike in NATO territory. Basically, he doesn't do anything. What are the risks for Putin to not make good on his claim here?
It's hard for me to imagine him not doing something. If we give the Ukrainians ATACMS and Storm Shadows and give them the green light to use them in a serious way, I find it hard to imagine that, having drawn this red line and being under significant pressure from people like Karaganov and others, that Putin would do nothing. As I said to you before, I do not think he would use nuclear weapons. I think he would use conventional weapons. And I'm not sure he'd strike into Western or Eastern Europe, as you were alluding to. He might go after our satellites or something like that. He might go after a naval ship of ours. Who knows for sure? But it would have to be, I think, a substantial response on his part at the conventional level. Because the problem that he's